And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Kevin Durant episode. The 6'10", 240-pound small forward is a 11-time All-Star. Ooh, I messed that up. Dang. Is a 2-time champ, 1-time MVP. He's a 11-time All-Star, 9-time All-NBA, playing 13 years in the league, and is obviously not yet a Hall of Famer. With career averages of 27, 7, and 4 on 49% shooting. And I will now kick it to Wade, who has Kevin Durant ranked the highest at 14 overall and 3 on his small forward list. Wade?
All right. Well, I love Kevin Durant. He is one of my favorite players of all time. No one will probably ever surpass Vince Carter in my heart, but Kevin Durant is one of the couple players right behind him that I have loved for a while. So I have all kinds of lovely opinions on old Kevin. But I mean, he's a phenomenal player. I think his stats and accolades speak for themselves. I'm sure Uncle Doug will probably give us a lowdown on the stats when it's his turn. So I'll let him do that. I mean, just accolade-wise, he's right up there with all the all-time greats. You know, the double-digit All-Star games, the getting ready to be double-digit All-NBAs, the 4 scoring titles, and the youngest scoring champion in the history of the NBA. You know, his calling card is scoring. The 2 championships, the 2 Finals MVPs, the Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's everything you need to be an all-time great. But if you just watch Kevin Durant play basketball, it's just a beautiful, fluid, efficient, offensive game. He's an offensive assassin. And throughout his career, he is developed into a good defender. He developed into becoming an above-average passer. He hit a point, I believe, in his career where he really didn't have a weakness in his game. One of the best three-point shooters in the league, free throw shooters, one of the greatest mid-range shooters ever. Can post up smaller defenders and use his length. Can drive past bigger defenders if they try to come up and block his shot. Wasn't a great passer to begin with, but worked on it, and now has been an above-average passer for quite a while. Has always been an above-average rebounder. And the big thing that people forget, kind of like with his passing, he worked on his defense and became a pretty good defender. Is still, even as he's aging, is still a pretty good perimeter defender. And the big one that people forget is with the Warriors, he was their best rim protector at times. And there was even a period of time where he led the league in blocks for a little while. He ended up getting surpassed before the year was over that year, but he did lead the league for a while during a season there. And in my personal opinion, which is probably controversial, but I think he is the greatest all-around scorer in the history of the NBA. His ability to do absolutely everything at an extremely high level, scoring the ball, is unreal. And I think his hesitation pull-up, mid-range jumper usually, but sometimes he does it for threes, in my opinion, is one of the 5 or 6 most unstoppable shots ever. No one will ever dethrone the sky hook. That'll always be number 1. And then I think after Kareem, you have, the one-footed fadeaway by Dirk, the dream shake, you have the underrated finger roll by George Gervin, you have the hesitation pull-up by Kevin Durant, and then I'd probably throw in the nasty mid-range fadeaways that were perfected by Kobe and Michael Jordan. And I think all of those are kind of all right after Kareem, are all just unstoppable shots that you can't defend.
Nick Wright would disagree with you.
I'm sure, because I didn't say LeBron.
Exactly.
But, I mean, his hesitation pull-up is he just gets you a little bit off balance with a little hesitation, and then he just immediately pulls up into an extremely quick release. He's 7 foot tall, shoots up above his head, you can't block it, and his mid-range jumper is unstoppable. And it's amazing to watch, and I would say his biggest signature moment he does a hesitation pull-up three over LeBron to seal Game 3 of the NBA Finals in his first championship. Just to kind of, give you a little perspective on just how unstoppable it was. And in those NBA Finals, he averaged 35 points per game on 55% shooting on LeBron James.
Was that Game 3? I thought it was later than that in the series.
I think it was game because he had in both championships he sealed Game 3 to pretty much in the
pretty
series.
much with the exact same shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was. I know it was the exact same game in the series. I want to say it was Game 3 because after that it was pretty much over.
I'm not telling you you're wrong. I don't know what game it was. I just felt like it was like really late in the series that it happened.
Well, the 1 year they swept them.
Okay.
So it wasn't too far. And then I think in the other one it only went 5.
It could be
5 or 6.
Could be.
I thought it was 3, but either way, that's his signature moment to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right over LeBron, they went at it. And when you can say you went mano a mano with LeBron James and you won the championship both times and you kicked his ass, offensively anyway. Some people do consider LeBron James the GOAT, so that's pretty good territory. I don't think he's the GOAT, but there are people that do believe that.
Yes.
But yes, I love Kevin Durant. I think he's an offensive assassin. It's probably my longest opening statement of all time, but I figure I might as well do that for my boy Kevin Durant. So
fair enough.
I'm good for now.
All right. Well, thank you, Wade. And Uncle Doug will go next, as he has Kevin Durant ranked 20th overall and 4th on his small forward list. Uncle Doug?
Yeah, I've been enjoying watching Kevin since he played for Texas. I couldn't believe the first time I saw him play, somebody that tall that could shoot like that. Just amazing. His peak years, he's peaked out at like 32 points a game. Peak rebounds, 8.3. Assists, 5.9. He's already 29th on the scoring list, and his average is 4th. I probably would have Kevin higher if he wasn't still playing. Kind of waiting to see where he ends up. The way he's playing right now, I can see him moving up on all the lists. I mean, I don't mean our list, but I mean scoring list, rebound list, assists, all those things. As the years go by, his accolades are just going to go up too.
Mm-hmm.
He's just an amazing player.
All right. Well, that will lead to me, who has him 22nd overall and 4th on his small forward list. I almost said shooting guard.
He could probably play there.
Well, they have him listed as it on here. On Basketball Reference, he's listed at small forward, power forward, and shooting guard. But that being said, Wade pretty much covered the gambit on most things KD, I think. I do think that KD is right there, if not the guy, in the greatest scorer of all time conversation. I do agree with Wade on that. I also agree that because he's so tall and so long, his jump shot is virtually unblockable. It's ridiculous. He reminds you of Dirk in that way, putting the ball above his head and being so tall that it's so hard to get at his jump shot. They don't necessarily play alike, but I just mean getting to their jump shot. I also think Kevin Durant is how best to put it, a true original. We've never seen anything like KD before, and I don't know that we ever will again. Every other year, it seems like there's somebody in the draft that somebody says is the next KD, and it's just all based on because they're skinny, and then they don't act like KD. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to be skinny and athletic, but and long. We've seen lots of guys like that, but we've never, well, not never, but we've very rarely seen scorers like this to put up the numbers that KD does. That's where it's more rare than just him being skinny and athletic. So I think I think he's just so. It's just so rare to see the gifts that KD has. And I had my reservations about KD when he came out because he was so damn skinny. I was like, is this guy going to be able to hold up, to the NBA season? And he's had a few injuries, namely the big one being the Achilles in the finals a few years ago. But fortunately, he seems to have bounced back from that beautifully. And I actually had a mini talk with Mark this morning about this because I think we've said in past episodes Mark's supposed to be here for this episode, but Mark had something come up and he was not able to make it tonight. Because Mark is also a very, very huge Kevin Durant fan like Wade, and we were having an argument, or not an argument, but a conversation about KD. And I told him, I said, most of my problems with KD are off the court. I find KD almost impossible to like as a human being, but on the basketball court, he's just he's a beast. I don't know how else to put it. Like he's a beast, and I agree with Uncle Doug as well. If once his career were to wrap up, I think he would probably be higher, and he's only going to add more accolades and stats from here on out. Especially if those accolades end up being, rings or MVPs, those are only going to push him higher and higher up people's lists. So that is my opening statement on KD. And that will lead us to Ray, who has him ranked the lowest of anyone at 35 overall and number 7 on his small forward list. Ray?
All right. I'm going to start off with a quote. I think the origin is from Dan Patrick, because he liked to say it a lot, but you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. That is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is also one of the modern-day basketball players who kind of mirrors the 90s mentality. Competitive. His life revolves around basketball and not locker room TikTok videos. He's a killer assassin. Give the man the ball when the game is on the line, and 9 times out of 10, he will make you pay. The man is also... hold on, I lost my space. The man is almost 7 foot and plays the game like a guard. Freaky athletic, great all-around basketball player. The only real critique I have on the man is quit trying to recreate these super teams. The only real competition is going against competition, where you make phone calls and lobby to bring 3 to 10 stars on your team, because down the road looks bad. It makes you look weak. We always talk about this. I got excuse me. Another quote that Alex had. I don't know how many episodes it's been, but hopefully I get it right. There was a couple-year span where I was interested in watching the game, because when you know who's going to win at the beginning of the season, what's the point? Then he goes to Brooklyn and tries the same thing on paper, and no injuries. They might have won at least one title. But, I guess rant over for the 87th time on the podcast. So the man is a phenomenal talent. Once we get past this super team shit stain of a era, then maybe we can look back to evaluating titles on a realistic level. But there you go, opening statement.
All right. Well, as you all may notice, that's only 4 people, and I said that was the last one. So Drew is not here at the moment, but he should be here momentarily. But Drew has KD identically ranked to Wade. So 14 and 3.
And that big glossy turd put Bob Pettit ahead of him.
Yes, he did. That will come up later.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
So, as far I don't know, did you touch on his rankings earlier, Uncle Doug?
You talked about his scoring rankings.
Scoring rankings, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and actually, I just checked on the points, and he's already moved up to 28 from 29.
Oh, okay.
He's climbing the list.
Oh, well, yeah.
And looking at the guys ahead of him, he's within a couple hundred points of a couple more. So it won't be long until he climbs even higher.
Yeah, he could get a couple hundred points this season for sure.
I honestly thought he just passed Iverson not that long ago. Like pretty recently, I thought. Maybe. Or maybe that might have been a different stat. I could be off. Are you talking about total points?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, total points.
It might
Sorry.
have been something different. I don't remember.
And I saw the other day, and I can't remember exactly how many of them there were, but it was like he's one of only like 5 players in NBA history to average more than 27 points a game for their career. And obviously he's still playing, but yeah, I mean LeBron's one of them as well.
Anyway, him and LeBron are both like right at 27, I
Yeah.
think. And then you got Jordan and Wilt.
There's somebody else. I'm pretty sure there was 5.
Was there 5?
I thought
Yeah, because his average is 4th all time.
4th.
Yeah.
Probably ahead of LeBron because I think LeBron's right at 27, and he's at 27-1. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I believe you're correct. I remember hearing about that on a podcast.
Because earlier this season, LeBron dropped to 26-9.
And it took him out of that category.
Yeah, and then he rejoined it again.
Yeah. But it has to. Well, Jordan has the highest average of all time. So he averaged like 30 points per game for his career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing Wilt's up there.
I would assume, but I'm not 100% sure. I feel bad. I said I brought it up, and I can't remember who all was on it. But
Well, we know LeBron, Durant, Jordan for sure. I'd almost have to guarantee Wilt. Now I'm trying to think.
Okay, top 4. Jordan, 30.12. Wilt, 30.07. Elgin Baylor, 27.36. Kevin Durant, 27.12. LeBron, 27.04. Jerry West, 27.03.
oh, there was 6 of them. Okay.
Yep. And AI is 26.6.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Gotcha.
behind West.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well,
The real big crazy thing with Kevin Durant, obviously it might be a biased opinion, but he doesn't even really, well, he does at times, but he will often play within the flow of an offense and not necessarily just go out there and shoot the ball 30 times. He'll get you 25 points on 14 attempts. He used to do that all the time, and which I think makes you a better basketball player when you're able to do all that within the flow of an offense and not disrupt everything with constant isolations. And he's one of the most efficient players ever. He's just below 50% for his career, and he's mainly shooting jumpers and threes, which is amazing. He's just below 90% for free throws, and he's just below 40% from 3. And his scoring ability is just so rare. It's just unbelievable.
I think we've seen different versions of him offensively over the last handful of years. Because in like Oklahoma City, his last couple of years in Oklahoma City with Westbrook, I think there was a lot of isolation. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, BS.
What you got to do with Westbrook? Though.
Well, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying that's what they were doing in OKC.
No, you're right.
And then he went to the Warriors, and it was really free flowing,
Yeah.
and it did look a lot more just like Durant and Curry and those guys scoring in the flow of the offense, getting open shots, all those things. Yeah, still end of game moments. You get isolations and stuff, but everybody does that. And then you get Brooklyn, where he is now like the alpha dog again, and I think he's more embraced that role because I don't think he ever embraced it in OKC, where he was more of an alpha
There
dog.
was always a thing back and forth with him
Yeah.
and Westbrook.
Right.
The coaches couldn't even figure out what to do with him after.
I know.
Which is why they never won a championship.
But he's kind of embraced that alpha dog role, I think, more. But still, at times, watching Brooklyn play, because they're on TV all the time, so I do get to do it, watch them a lot, there's still a flow.
Yeah.
Like, even Kyrie's there and Harden's there, and they're all three there, there's still a flow to the offense. There's not a ton of isolation, your turn, my turn stuff, which kind of surprised me, to be honest.
It makes them unstoppable offensively.
Mm-hmm.
When those three, well, they've barely played together.
I think it's
Hardly
the
at
next
all.
19 games.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, but yeah, like he's doing these offensive numbers, and he's not going out there with like the Kobe mentality or the Jordan mentality, like a younger Jordan mentality, where it was, or an Iverson. Iverson's another good one. Like, I'm going to shoot 25 times, and I don't give a shit, whether if you like it or not. I'm getting mine, and then we'll see about you later. Like, and if you're great enough, obviously it worked for Kobe and Jordan, obviously, but and other players it doesn't. But I don't know. I think that's one of the things that makes them special. You're that efficient. You're able to play with pretty much anyone due to the way you play and the way you're able to score so effortlessly and without disrupting the flow of the offense. And it's amazing to watch, I think.
You guys can respond to this, obviously, when I'm done, but this has been something I have believed in. If I was going to build a team around somebody that I had to play with, I would rather have Durant than LeBron.
Oh, I would.
And this is not me saying necessarily that Durant is better than LeBron, because I have LeBron much higher on my list than Durant. But I just think playing with Durant is so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
And he can, like you said, he can fit with so many different guys. He could play, if LeBron was traded to Brooklyn, Kevin Durant could play with LeBron, because he could catch and shoot off of LeBron and cut to the basket and take feeds from LeBron and do all the things that LeBron likes guys to do off of him. But LeBron can't play off of KD.
Yeah, LeBron has had the ball.
Yes.
That's why he's one of the highest usage rates in NBA history.
100%. I don't. LeBron is the system. Well, I know we've heard that on media before. LeBron is the system. LeBron has to be the system, or he's not. Or it doesn't work for him. He can't be a spot-up shooter. He can't be a post player, or throw the ball down to him in the block or something like that. Like, he doesn't have those skills.
Yeah.
And Durant is like a much better teammate in that. I'm not talking about the way they treat people. I'm just talking about, like, as far as being able to fit in with team concepts. I think Durant is better at that.
Well, it's just so much more beneficial to your team, I think. Like, but LeBron is so freakishly athletic and such a great basketball player. Him being the entire offense has gotten him a tremendous amount of success.
Yeah.
But it's also been the reason why he's lost 6 times in the NBA Finals. That's not the reason he's lost all of them, but it is the reason why he lost some of them. Because the way he made his team play.
Well, here's the other thing, though, too. Maybe Durant didn't have as much to do with it as we think. But as far as putting superstar teammates around him and building a super team, Durant's done a better job. And here's why I think that. D. Wade is great. Chris Bosh, I think, is underrated because of, how his career kind of went. Kyrie is great. And I think Kevin Love has become underrated for his career. But those guys were not great picks to play with LeBron.
They weren't a fit.
The fit was not great, especially D. Wade. D. Wade is a smaller version of LeBron.
Yeah.
They play the exact same style of basketball. And then they went out and got a post player to get in their way.
Yeah, they got the guy right to the basket.
Right. So he didn't do a good job of building it. He did better the second time around with Kyrie and Love, but it still wasn't great. And now he's done an awful job in LA with AD and Westbrook.
Yeah.
LeBron is not doing a great job with the GM stuff and finding guys that fit with him. He wants talent. But, dude, do you know, like, the perfect player, maybe not perfect, but one of the most perfect players to play with LeBron would be Klay Thompson.
Yeah, because he just
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a good defender on the other end.
Good defender and shooter. Yep. Perfect.
He would have played really well with Dirk.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the pick and pop between Dirk and LeBron?
Oh, unstoppable. LeBron barreling to the basket and
Yeah.
Dirk popping out. Like, which one are you going to guard?
Exactly. If the big man picks up LeBron to try and stop him from getting a dunk, Dirk gets a 3.
Or, I mean, yeah, and Dirk is an unreal shooter. So,
Yeah, I mean, like, he could find guys that, or if you wanted a Kevin Love or Chris Bosh, that's fine. Go get a shooter then, not D. Wade or Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
And then run that pick and pop with Kevin Love in the middle of the floor. Because Kevin Love's a good shooter.
Yeah.
He's not Dirk, but he's a good shooter.
I really think I don't think Kyrie was a bad fit.
No, Kyrie wasn't a bad fit.
Kyrie was a pretty decent. Well, not. I think the big thing with him is Kyrie can do a little bit of everything on offense, but I think what helped Kyrie with LeBron was at that point LeBron wasn't old yet, but he had starting to get a little wear and tear, a little. That second term in Cleveland, and Kyrie could take over the game offensively for spurts and let LeBron rest, and Kyrie could fully run the show and obviously score in any way, shape, or form.
I agree. And I'm not trying to paint him in a bad light. I think Kevin Love was the issue in Cleveland because they regulated him to being a go stand in the corner and spot up.
It wasn't his fault though.
No, I'm not saying it was his fault. But Kevin Love's not a good defender.
Yeah.
So if you take his offensive game away, then he looks bad because it's like, well, he's not dominating the offensive end of the floor, but he's sucking on defense.
He's pretty much just a rebounder and a spot-up shooter.
Yeah, and then you get a bad rap for that stuff. Kyrie, I agree. Kyrie was not a bad fit with LeBron. He was a much better fit than D Wade.
Yeah. D Wade. The thing with those Heat teams, they were just so much more talented and athletic than everybody else.
Yeah,
But
KD puts a team together with Kyrie and Harden. They can all shoot. They can all handle the ball. They can all do pretty much, they can all go to the basket. They can all pretty much do everything offensively. So there is more of a flow. There's more of a fit with the three of them. And even more than I gave them credit for, because when they first put it together, I was like, there's not enough balls to go around.
Well, Harden changed the most. For them.
Yeah.
Harden changed his game by pretty much just becoming a point guard. But here, to be completely honest, even though I'm a KD fan, it's kind of hurts my heart a little bit. But I think Brooklyn, if they don't get their shit together, as in I'm talking about Harden and Kyrie, I think Brooklyn's going to be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
They're running out of time. KD is, I believe, 34 now. Or getting ready to be 34.
33 and 105 days, what it says on here.
Okay, so he's 33.
Mm-hmm.
Harden is now in his 30s, and I believe Kyrie's getting ready to turn 30. I think he's 29 or 30. But KD's already had one humongous injury he's coming off of. He was limited last year. Coming back from all this, and he kept getting little injuries. Now they're having him play all these minutes, playing all this crazy defense because they don't have anyone else that can do it. Kyrie's doing strange, ridiculous Kyrie things, and that was supposed to be Durant's dude. That's who he went to play with, and Kyrie so far has. I want to say things that are just not appropriate for this podcast. Like it's just, ugh. And Harden, last year, what he did was great. And then now this year, I don't know, something's been off. To be completely honest, he's one of those guys, he often can get out of shape in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes in and has to play himself back into shape at times. And now that he's getting to his 30s, he can't. He's lost some of that first step. He can't blow by people as well as he could in Houston. And if they don't get their shit together this year, or maybe next year, hopefully this year, Brooklyn will be a failure. I believe that. And this year has almost kind of been disappointing.
I think with the Kyrie stuff, and like you said, I'm not going to get into the craziness of some of the Kyrie stuff or the politics of it. I'm just going to refuse. But that being said, here's my fear. He's only playing on away games, which I think could be an issue all in itself. But my big worry is it'd be bad if they played the Knicks the playoffs. But it'd be worse if they played the Warriors in the finals. And he wouldn't be able to play in either's place.
Yeah. And then, that would be... Like right now, they were number one seed in the East. They are no longer the number one seed in the East. And Kevin Durant is playing out of his mind this year. He is, like I said, coming off a crazy injury a year and a half ago. He was still injured off and on last year, trying to come back from the major injury, even though he balled out when he did play. I mean, you saw the playoffs. He was destroying the Bucks, but he had no help. And it's Brooklyn is falling apart quickly. I mean, because he goes to the playoffs, and for like literally the 5th year in a row, Kyrie is not available for his team in the postseason, or he's playing badly. And Harden played not so great, and then he got hurt and tried to come back and play through it, and he was god awful. And Joe Harris couldn't hit anything. And whose legacy is going to take the biggest hit in all this? Kevin Durant, because he's the all-time great on the team. He's going to be the one that's going to get shit on and being told, well, he formed a super team, but he couldn't win, even though he's maybe the best player in the league, but his team is falling apart around him. And as a Kevin Durant fan, that makes me very angry.
Well, I'm gonna go the opposite. I agree with what you just said, but I'm gonna go the opposite way and ask a question. If they win a championship in Brooklyn, what does it do to all three legacies? Because I have an opinion here, but I don't think everybody's going to agree with me.
It helps Harden the most.
That is 100% true, I think.
Because Harden's the entire problem or issue with his legacy is what he does in the playoffs.
Yes.
So he benefits the most.
Especially if he shows up.
Yes. If he plays bad and the other two carry him, it will help, I think, because in a few years we won't remember that. We'll just remember he has a championship.
Yeah.
But we'll still be like, hey, he didn't play well. Like, that's weak sauce. But yeah, if he plays well and they win a championship, it does a lot for Harden. I agree with you, Wade.
Kyrie, I don't even know what the hell his legacy is. It's so odd. So I don't.
It is.
Yeah. It is. So I'm not sure about that. Kevin Durant, I think, out of the 3 stars, he obviously has the ability and room to expand his legacy, but his legacy is the most set out of the 3 as of right now.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not sure if he benefits the second most or the third most. I'm not sure.
Here, I'm just going to give my controversial opinion. I agree with you with Harden. I don't think a championship in Brooklyn does anything for the other two either way. Their legacy doesn't get better and it doesn't get worse. I don't think it does anything.
I really think Kyrie's just so crazy right now. I'm not sure what to do with him.
Yeah.
But I kind of agree with you on KD. If he was doing it with just one of the other two, but when he brought in both of them, then everybody's just going to say, it's just like before.
He did what he was supposed to do. They're by far the most talented team in the NBA.
Yeah, once they put the 3 of them together, they were supposed to win the title.
Yes.
And then injury derailed it last year, and we'll see what happens this year.
Okay, I got do the little what if game we always play.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, we'll just say this year. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll say this year, let's say they win the title.
Okay.
But we'll say Kyrie can't play most of the time. Then, like usual, he gets hurt in the playoffs anyway, so he's just not there. So, which I would say is probably a 75% chance that happens.
Fair.
Because I believe literally it's been like 5 straight years he hasn't been able to fully play with his team in the playoffs. It's something insane like that.
What about Kyrie, right?
Yes, Kyrie.
Okay.
So let's say he gets hurt. He can't play half the games anyway, so it's whatever. And then him and Harden go and still win the championship. Does that enhance it?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I think that would
I'm
help.
going to say yes.
Then I will agree with your theory. I think that's reasonable.
Now, let me ask this then. What if the other side of it happens and Harden is the one that gets hurt and Kyrie gets vaccinated and plays in the playoffs? I know this is a big what if. We're playing the what if game.
Right.
And Kyrie and Durant win the championship. Does that do anything for Kyrie?
Yeah, I mean, I think that catapults him up the all-time point guard list. Because now we're talking about a multi-time champion, a guy who puts up, as far as point guards go, one of the greatest scoring point guards we've ever seen.
Yeah,
maybe the greatest ball handler we've ever seen.
Yep,
an elite shooter, He was the one that hit the most clutch shot in Cleveland Cavaliers history, not LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
And then he is second fiddle to on another team and is able to fit in with another player. I think that highly enhances his legacy.
So let's take it one step further on the same question. What does Kyrie have to do in the next few years to be put on your list?
Quit being a retard and show up and play.
Yeah, he's got to play.
Just show up. Just quit being a fool. He has the talent, and even I don't know. It's so crazy when you talk about Kyrie Irving. I mean, I think he already has a pretty good legacy. He's going to be a for sure Hall of Famer. The NBA, or Basketball Hall of Fame, is easy to get into as it is, and he is a great player. He just had so many weird stuff going on in his career, and he's missed so much time.
Is he the first part-time NBA player of all time?
No. We actually talked about Baylor doing it during his episode.
Yeah.
Oh. Baylor did it because he only played on the weekends because he was in the military.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I'm sure other guys have done it too. I just know about that one.
Well, should we let the audience know that Drusev is here?
Yes, I was getting there. I just hadn't gotten there yet. Drew has showed up.
I'm here.
He decided to grace us with his presence. So, Drew, we all gave our opening statements. I'm not going to ask you to do that, but we have talked about you and Wade have identically ranked KD at the highest of anybody.
Oh, yeah.
So, do you just want to talk about why you ranked him there real quick?
Yeah. I've watched KD for my whole life, obviously. I think for KD being at 6'11", such a versatile player, being able to handle the ball, come down, shoot it over top of your head. Doesn't matter who they put on. If you put one of the big guys, he's going to drive right past them. If you get one of the shorter guys who's quicker, he's going to shoot over them. So he's got that going for him. He's 7 foot, but he likes to say he's 6'11" and all that. He's got MVPs, Finals MVPs, scoring championships with Warriors. We all know that, but championships, but
that's not true.
They're better than Gary Payton's. But he was final MVP on both of them, so yeah. I just think KD overall is a great player, and he's still adding on to his legacy. With having one of his best years, he might get another MVP after this year. So that's what I got. Start, and then I'll figure out where you guys are at in the conversation. Sounds like we're talking about dumb Kyrie right now, and when he'll play, and all that.
What we're kind of doing is, I kind of got started with, I said, with the Nets might fuck it up because while Kevin Durant's still in his prime, Kyrie's doing Kyrie things.
Mm-hmm.
Harden's been having some weird stuff going on, whether if it's getting off to a terrible start or getting hurt in the playoffs. And here in a couple of years, when Kevin Durant might start to decline, they might miss their window, and the whole experiment might just.
So they already lost their 1 seed to the Bulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
I'm a big
looking at
fan of the Bulls.
the Bulls are balling, dude.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the standings. Chicago is 2.5 games ahead of Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is only a half game ahead of the Heat.
Well, Brooklyn, I believe in the past few weeks, they had a little losing streak, and they just snapped it not that long ago.
Well, they won the game against Indiana, the game Kyrie returned for. And then the very next night, they had to go home, so Kyrie couldn't play, and Milwaukee waxed them. I watched that game.
I think they lost a few in a row, counting that one.
Yeah, their last 10 games, they're 4-6.
Yeah, so I knew there was a bit of a losing streak in there.
By the way, though, Harden has started to look like Harden again, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's picking it up.
But they had one of the most games missed recently for COVID, though, too. They had quite the issue with COVID.
Well, just this year, Kyrie, obviously he's only played 2 games. Harden got off to the terrible start. Joe Harris has barely played all year.
Hey, there's something wrong with him. Didn't he break his foot
ankle?
or something? Ankle? Okay, something like that.
Something down there, but I believe he has started the process of coming back or rehabilitating or whatever. So he should be back in a decent amount of time. I mean, they've just been, I believe Aldridge has missed some time. I believe all of them missed time with COVID.
Except for Blake. Blake made it through COVID.
Blake, but he pretty much died and doesn't exist anymore because he's so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yeah, Ray, you were right for a half a season, and then it really went downhill.
At least I was right, though. That's all that matters.
He was a big part of their team last year. To be
He was.
honest. And
really, he played well in the Milwaukee series.
Yeah, He even stepped up on defense.
Yeah.
But so really around KD, it's kind of crumbling while he's playing at an MVP level. And as a giant Kevin Durant fan, I just don't want people to sit back and be like, oh, KD, couldn't do it with the Nets when he's amazing right now.
I would say this though, Wade. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just my own personal opinion. But I think last year's playoff run did more for me personally and Kevin Durant's legacy than anything he did in with the Warriors.
Or just the way he showed up in the Milwaukee series.
Yeah, and the way he didn't team up with a whole bunch of superstars and had and relied on them and was clearly the best team in the league and didn't have to carry anything. Like last year, carrying his own team and completely balling out and going head to head with Giannis and then Giannis had Middleton and Holiday and he didn't have his guys. And I don't really hold I shouldn't even say really. I don't hold that series loss against Kevin Durant at all. He balled the fuck out in that series.
Just a centimeter more, and they win the series.
Yeah.
Behind that damn 3-point line.
It's big old feet.
I know.
But I think that's been what's missing for me. I talked with Mark about this earlier today. We've never seen Kevin Durant play without superstars. He's always been surrounded by superstars. And, we've never seen him have to carry anything. He's always had superstars to rely on his whole career. I mean, pretty much from the word go, he had Westbrook and Harden. And then, Harden left, but he still had Westbrook. And then he went to the Warriors with Curry and Clay and those guys. And then now he's in Brooklyn with Kyrie and Harden. But then Kyrie and Harden were hurt and were gone. And we really saw KD do stuff we've never seen KD do before. And I think that was bigger to me than anything he did with the Warriors.
He did play phenomenal against Milwaukee. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the Warriors stuff.
I don't. My feelings are not mixed.
You have to think about it from this perspective. You're Kevin Durant. You're trying to be, when you're one of the greatest players of all time, your goal is to be, the greatest player of your generation, or
correct.
Try to be the GOAT or whatever. When he leaves the Thunder, at this point, LeBron James has been declared the best player in the NBA for quite a while already. Yes. He did it by stacking the deck in Miami, and then he went and stacked the deck the second time, and at this point with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So he has 3 championships, all these MVPs. Everyone kind of started sweeping under the rug the whole Miami thing. After he started winning championships, he was the man, and some people started calling him the GOAT. So if you're Kevin Durant, do you stay with Russell Westbrook, or do you do what LeBron did and go and beat LeBron?
Well, here, I guess my only problem with what you said is I think it was an oversimplification. Because there's more than 2 options.
Not really, because there were a few more teams involved, but no one that was going to touch LeBron's super team.
No, I don't think just signing with any team would have catapulted him to super team status. I really have a problem with him signing with the team that beat him. Like that's like we've never seen like that. It was just so crazy to me. It was like, well, the series is over. I blew the series. I played terribly at a point and blew a 3-1 lead to this team. And then I'm going to go play with them because essentially I can't beat them, join them. I don't know. I'm not a Thunder fan, obviously. We know my fandom, but for like 3 years there, I was begging and pleading for Kevin Durant to make his case to be the best player in the NBA. I was so over LeBron, and Curry gets on my goddamn nerves, so I didn't want it to be him. I wanted it to be Kevin Durant. I was like, man, Kevin Durant, if he could do this, he could be the best player in the league, and we can calm down this LeBron stuff. I was so rooting for it, and when he signed with the Warriors, I was like, let's just go out and say that was a bitch move. And then ever since then, Kevin Durant has just upped his bitchness every time we turn around. Now, again, I'm not talking about basketball. Dude, he attacked a 12-year-old online the other day, unprovoked.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, dude, there's something fucking wrong with you when you're one of the greatest basketball players in the world. You're a millionaire, and you're so insecure with yourself. You're trash talking little kids who posted their 6th grade highlight video online, and you're calling him trash.
Oh shit.
Yes, a 12-year-old.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look.
He didn't send it to Kevin Durant and ask his opinion. He posted it on Twitter, and Kevin Durant commented on the shit.
Damn.
And then, or creating burner accounts and trashing your teammates on your burner accounts. Like, there's something wrong with Kevin Durant. Like, he's an unhappy person, obviously. Now, on the basketball court, cold as hell. And again, this isn't the stuff I'm talking about right now doesn't weigh into my ranking of Kevin Durant.
Right.
Because it's off the floor. I just find it so hard to like him now. Like, the Warriors thing, I think, would have gone away if Kevin Durant would have let it go away. But he's been such an asshat since. And the whole, whining and crying to the media about not winning awards while he was with the Warriors because the league was jealous of him. Dude, shut the fuck up. You're complaining you didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, and you've never even made it all defensive team. He just made it so hard for me to like him. And then he went and joined up with my favorite player. And I was like, well, Wade's controversial guy is now playing with my controversial guy. So it's like, well, here we go.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask on the downside of KD. I just wrote cupcake ? Sensitive to comments. How does it affect his legacy? I mean, Alex says he doesn't count it at all, but what do you think? What about everybody else?
It doesn't bother me that he's an asshole on Twitter, but I mean, I know it bugs a lot of other people.
I don't think non-basketball things really should affect your legacy.
Yes, I agree with that.
I mean, that's just kind of my feeling, but I know a lot of people come down on him for this.
Well, I think we talked about this before. That's happened in all sports. People don't like you. It messes up. The Terrell Owens not making the Hall of Fame right back because people didn't like him.
The latest thing in the media with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Yeah. The guy said, "Well, I'm not going to vote for him because he's an a-hole."
Yep. That's
for MVP.
Yeah.
And it's no, that's not how you're supposed to decide MVP.
Right. Honestly, my personal opinion is the NFL should take his vote.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's
exactly.
That's not what we're doing here.
Right.
And I think Aaron Rodgers is an asshole.
Right.
But he's fucking good.
Yeah, he's really good.
I'm a Bears fan. He should win MVP. I mean,
He should.
we just can't go out there and say stuff like that.
Here's my thing, is with the asshole stuff. This isn't the first player we brought up that's an asshole.
It's not.
These guys that made my list. The guy ranked directly behind Kevin Durant on my small forward list is Rick Barry.
Right.
Who is a giant asshole.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't win MVPs. Because nobody liked him.
So I'm not going to hold his assholeness or his bitch assness against his legacy.
Right.
But I find it hard to root for or like Kevin Durant at this point, which is weird because I really liked Kevin Durant a handful of years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what changed. Because he didn't seem like that way when he came out of Texas, when he was playing at OKC, first got to Golden State.
Well, I read an article from, what's his name? Chris Hayes? Is that the guy? I think it's Chris Hayes.
Okay.
He said that in OKC, at least, OKC's PR team kept such raps on not just KD, but Russ as well.
Oh,
and they wouldn't let them do certain things. They wouldn't let them say certain things. They would end interviews very abruptly in Oklahoma City when they thought KD or Russ were getting upset. Or, they said they'd never seen a treatment of players so tight. And then now that both of them have left that, we've seen them say and do odd and weird and ridiculous things. The stuff that Russ has been saying recently in LA, I'm like, dude, stop talking. You sound like a dumbass.
I played great during the Lakers' bad stretch. No, you didn't.
My turnovers don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
You just had a 9 turnover game. You don't think that mattered?
Nope. Not at all.
Everybody expects me to average 25, 15, and 15. And I'm not going to be able to do that every night. No, nobody expects that out of you, Russ. I promise you, nobody
Just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Oh, they had a nice little stat for Russ the other day I looked at. It said for the last 2 games, he scored like 13 point something points total. And then he had Klay Thompson come back after 2 years absent, and he got a 15 point something average for the 2 games he was in.
Yeah. It was kind of funny. LeBron actually had a pretty funny comment. I think it was kind of a little smart-ass comment. He kind of congratulated or told Russell Westbrook, good job, and we won the game because he only had 3 turnovers in the second half of one game.
Well, there was a game recently that Westbrook had 0 turnovers. Remember, Dad, we were talking about?
He only had 6 points, though.
Yeah.
2 for 13.
Yeah.
Here's my other thing, though, too, is I think we talked about this in the Jason Kidd episode. You expected Jason Kidd to do 2 things during a game. Make 2 or 3 passes where everybody in the gym jaw dropped, and you're like, how the fuck did he do that? And then also 2 or 3 times a game, he's going to check the ball in the stands.
Yep.
The problem is, Westbrook only does the latter. He chucks the ball in the stands. He throws the ball off the shot clock more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. And I don't understand how he keeps doing it over and over again. But he doesn't have jaw-dropping passes. Most of the time he has these turnovers, he's not even trying to pass. He's trying to score.
He dribbles off his foot out of bounds regularly. He makes Shaqtin a fool about once or twice a month for just directly dribbling off his foot out of bounds. I literally just watched a clip of Shaqtin a fool clip last week, and that's what he did.
Here's the crazy thing. Shams Charania reported, I think yesterday or the day before, that they can't get any interest for him in the trade market because they've tried now.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Where does he fit?
Right.
Where does he fit where they can also pay him or afford that contract?
He makes 42 this year and 44 next year. And not only that, but he's going to be Russ. You're not going to win with him. And on top of that, you have to be able to return assets the Lakers want. Because if you're a team like Detroit, who's like the worst team in the league, and you're like, hey, we could bring Russ in, increase ticket sales, things like that, okay, maybe. But who on Detroit does the Lakers want? And you have to match contracts, so you have to bring back $42 million in contract.
Right.
I mean, I have no idea who you do that with.
They're
I'm
not.
afraid the Lakers
We're stuck.
I believe so.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say another Russ comment. Go ahead.
Before we get too far away from KD, shall we do some litigation?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Ray,
Okay, let's go.
you have Gary Payton ranked ahead of Kevin Durant. I would like to ask why.
Okay, so the whole theory behind this was I needed Kevin Durant to show me that he could do something on his own.
Okay.
That's what the preliminary ranking was for.
Mhm.
Because the whole Golden State thing was, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you going to have 5 All-Stars on your team and do this whole thing? So the initial ranking was put him at 35. Let's see what he does later on, and maybe he'll go up. So that's why that.
Okay. But, by the way, we have hit our year mark. Today would be a year from our first episode.
Oh, cool.
Hey.
Happy anniversary, guys.
Yeah,
So our lists have been made for probably 14, 15 months at this point.
Yeah.
So, guys like KD could have already moved technically on your list, and you just can't do it yet.
Yeah.
My next question is, why is Paul Pierce ahead of Kevin Durant?
Probably pretty much the same thing because Paul Pierce at least showed that he could run a team by himself, minus Garnett and Ray Allen there for a while. But I mean, I don't know. Paul Pierce there for a while is the only real Celtic on the team. That was really his team. So that's why I kind of gave him the nod.
Okay. And my last one, I did this because I think they're similar, only Kevin Durant's better. That's my personal opinion. Is why George Gervin ahead of Kevin Durant?
Maybe George Gervin's a little more entertaining and flashy.
Mhm.
maybe that kind of piqued my interest. Kevin Durant, phenomenal, but not exactly flashy and showmanship. And, I mean, George Gervin, he's pretty much a primary scorer, but, I mean, nothing really else after that. I mean, maybe a little bit of talent here and there, but mostly because, I mean, he just kind of did it on his own, and a little bit of flash kind of threw up there with it.
Okay. All right. I'm done with you, Ray.
All right.
I'll move to Drew.
All right.
Now, my first question is obvious, but you're also not the only person to do it.
Oh, that's nice. I like to hear that.
Why do you have Bob Pettit ahead of Kevin Durant?
First, I'm going to make an announcement. I have a Bob Pettit jersey. If I didn't come for my meeting, I would have wore it tonight to show the guys, but next time I'm going to bring it to wear it, so don't worry. So I just want to tell everyone that. Okay. I think I have Bob Pettit ahead of KD because I think, okay, I said it like, kind of, I don't know if it's going back on myself, but like what I said, he has his championships, but I think Bob Pettit's one championship is more impressive than Kevin Durant's. Bob Pettit didn't have the All-Stars like Kevin Durant did, and he beat another legend like Kevin Durant did. KD beat LeBron with Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond and all them, and Bob Pettit, we don't know the guys' names. He beat Bill Russell in those Celtics.
Well, what? Russell and Kuzi and the Joneses, I think, were there at that time.
Yeah.
That was pre-Havlicek.
So yeah, I think that's why.
Okay. Now, you actually gave a more logical answer than I thought you were. I thought you were just going to get all worked up. Be like, Bob Pettit's great. So
He is great. That's why I went with the jersey thing.
all right, now I'm going the other way.
Okay.
Why do you have KD ranked ahead of the mailman?
I think KD's a little bit more versatile version of the mailman. I think he's a little bit taller, quicker. I think they both score a lot. I just think the mailman didn't have to bring the ball up as much, so he wasn't able. John Stockton did that for him. KD, he's got the ability to bring it up himself and stuff like that. And I think that's why.
Well, I don't disagree. Mailman was not a great ball handler. He was more of a back to the basket post player. All right, I'm done with you, Drew.
All right.
Uncle Doug, I just got one for you.
Yes, sir.
Why Baylor?
Oh, that's not the one I thought you'd ask.
Oh, what did you think I was going to ask?
I thought you were going to ask about Charles. And of course, Bob Pettit.
I considered it, but I did not. I went with Baylor.
Because Charles and KD may change. We'll see. I've been thinking about that. And Drew answered for Pettit. Baylor? I know I got to look back at my stuff. I had prepared for the wrong question.
Yeah, I did consider asking Barkley, but a couple people have Barkley, have Barkley ahead of KD.
Elgin doesn't have a title. The MVP thing, we've been over that with Russell and Chamberlain back then. It was probably just the stats. He was one of the guys that does score more points, and of course his rebounding is way higher.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's, I'm sure, why.
Okay. Well, then I'm done with you.
Okay.
Wade, I have two for you.
Okay.
And actually, I thought all my questions for you would be why is KD ahead of this person?
Oh.
But you had two ahead of KD that surprised me, so I wanted to ask about them.
Okay.
The first one being Isaiah Thomas.
Well, probably. Oh goodness, Isaiah Thomas. One, sorry, Kevin Durant's still just working on his legacy.
It's true.
So we'll just see how that goes. They probably have. I think they played a similar amount of games at the moment. Yeah, to be honest, that's pretty much it.
Okay, fair enough. And my last one, another guy I know Wade has a crush on. Dirk. Why is Dirk ahead of KD?
Same reason in career totals. I mean, Dirk has over 30,000 career points. I think he revolutionized the ways some power forwards play with the whole stretch four concept. And even though I'm a KD supporter, Dirk Nowitzki's championship is the polar opposite of Kevin Durant's as far as team-wise, what you're working with. And Dirk not only didn't have another superstar with him, but he took down a super team.
He did.
As the lone superstar on his team. And to be honest, if unless something terrible happens, Durant will probably creep past them in later years on a list later down the road.
Fair enough. I also have both of them ahead of Durant at this point, but I just wanted to ask about that. It surprised me for you, especially the Isaiah one kind of surprised me for a minute. But that is the end of my litigation questions, unless people have a question for me.
I always forget to look.
Well, let's see here.
I never look.
I always forget to look.
And
Well,
yours is the one list
should
I
I-
don't have.
Well, I mean, I think we've probably already addressed these a couple times, and I think you admitted you messed up on at least one of them.
But we ask me about Kevin McHale every week, so
Okay, I'll let that one go. And then did you said that you messed up on Kid, right?
I did
Okay.
say that. Yeah.
All right. Really, other than that, probably just Barkley.
Barkley. I think quite a bit of it has to do with totality. Although I do say I have a very, very high opinion of Barkley, so I'm not overly surprised I have Barkley ahead of Durant. I wasn't sure if I did or not. I hadn't looked at my list today. I think Barkley does, a lot of great things like Kevin Durant. I think they're not similar players, but I mean they're similar as far as like superstars did a lot of great things. Leading scorers their team, so on and so forth. And I think Kevin Durant has a distinct possibility of passing Barkley. I'm not gonna lie to you, I do judge Durant's titles differently. I kind of looked at it with certain people like, well, Barkley could have done that too, kind of thing. And maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know. I just have a lot of problems with those Warriors titles. So that's probably it.
Okay. Anybody else have one?
Okay, so I don't know if if this is really a serious question, but I'll ask it anyway. You got Kevin Durant at 22.
Mm-hmm.
You got Stephen Curry at 39.
Mm-hmm.
Why such a big gap between the two?
I did say in the Steph episode that he was going to come up my list. Actually, I had that written down. I don't know why. I think I scratched it off or something. Because I was gonna. I think it was Drew. I was gonna ask why he had KD and KD ahead of Steph. But anyway, I just personally I think KD's just so much of a better overall player than Curry. Curry's a slightly better shooter than Kevin Durant, but Durant does pretty much every single other thing on the floor better than him, other than maybe dribbling the basketball. He's a better rebounder. He's a better passer, which is weird since he's a point guard. He's a better defender. He's
all-around scorer.
a better all-around scorer. Yeah. So that's why I won't change that. Durant is better than Curry. I don't think there's a debate there personally.
No.
But Kevin or Curry will come up my list. Yes.
Okay.
I did have one.
Okay.
I couldn't remember which one it was. I thought about it earlier.
The one I've been waiting on hasn't happened yet. So
You made a joke about it. And I'm going to say something after you're done.
okay.
Why KG instead of ahead of KD?
Oh, that's not the one I was expecting.
Let me see. I'll be able to find it.
I really just want to know this one because I think it's a good debate.
Okay. First off, I'll say this. The weights still bother me. KD and KG are built so similarly,
Yeah.
and to have KD so much heavier
I mean,
is weird.
KG is more built than KD.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
KG's a skinny guy.
Yeah, but both of them skinny guys. I really like KG. I just really do. No doubt about it. Kevin Durant's a better scorer than KG. And I think the other direction's the same as well, no doubt about it. KG's a better defender than Kevin Durant. I think their passing's probably a wash. They're both really good passers for the forward position, but not, all-time great passers, not LeBron or Bird or Magic or anybody like that. And he was a better rebounder, and in totality probably. I think Durant has the possibility to pass Garnett, but I think it's going to be harder to pass him than it would be somebody like Barkley when you asked about him earlier.
Yeah. Just because we made a comment about it in the KG episode, I'll just give my quick opinion. I do think KG is an all-time great defender, while he was also a very good offensive player in his prime, while KD is the all-time great offensive player, while also being a very good defender. So they kind of go back and forth on that. As far as ability and what they do on the floor, I think they're both one of the greatest players of all time. So they both have an extreme impact on the floor, but then they both played on stacked super teams. One has more titles. One won both finals MVPs. One didn't win any. One has a Defensive Player of the Year award. One has 4 scoring titles. I believe Garnett does have more All-Stars and All-NBAs, but he's also played a fuck ton more. But yeah, I think it's a good little, fun little debate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But obviously I have KD ahead of KG.
All right. Why do you have John Havlicek?
There's the one I've been waiting on the whole time. Really, I mean, this just boils down to championships. We've discredited a lot of these old Celtics championships because of them playing with each other, down there in the 60s. Just like I discredit Kevin Durant's championships a little. So, but then Havlicek went on to win his own championships after those guys. I give him a lot of props for that. And Havlicek is on all the all-time lists. He's really high on some of those all-time lists. And again, Kevin Durant's climbing those lists, so he may pass Havlicek on a lot of those lists, in the next few years. But a lot of it had to do with just having more at this point.
Just more titles.
I don't remember the exact count on the stuff, but he has a whole bunch of All NBAs and all defensive teams and all that stuff too. So
gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't gonna rehash an old Celtics player.
Well, I know how you feel about Kuzi, and I give you a hard time about it, but I partially agree with you on the Kuzi stuff. And I don't agree with you in any way, shape, or form, but I know where you stand on Bill Russell. But I do put Havlicek in a different position because of what he did after those guys were all gone.
Fair enough. Did anybody else have any questions?
No, I think I'm good.
Good.
I really thought somebody was going to ask me about Havlicek long before that. So,
Told you I'd be able to figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of litigation. Do we want to give our closing statements on KD, or we got something else we want to talk about real quick?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there's too much more to say.
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, Ray, what you got, buddy?
I mean, phenomenal player, all around, balanced, my kind of guy. But you got to show me something by yourself. Quit trying to get your homies to the teams with you and, try to, pretty much pay your title. Do something on your own, and it would extraordinarily lift you up the list. Just show me that you can be Kevin Durant. Just Kevin Durant, not Kevin Durant associated with a bunch of people. I mean, this sounds kind of confusing, but I mean, you guys kind of get what I'm getting at. But yeah, just if the Kyrie and Harden, they start faltering, and he starts balling out like he did with Milwaukee last year, and he ended up, winning a title, pretty much him and the bench, I'll throw you up way high, buddy. But you got to show me something.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I guess that leads to me. I think Kevin Durant's legacy is soundly intact at this point in his career. I think it would take something, I don't know, catastrophic to hurt his legacy at this point. I mean, in a big way. But I do think he definitely has room to help his legacy. We kind of touched on that tonight. Garnering more accolades, more climbing higher on the statistic list, which are all attainable. He's still playing at a very high level. And he's probably going to be the best player on his team, at least for the next couple of years. So, if he were to win a championship, it would probably be as the best player on a championship team. So I think those are all, things that could catapult him. I think Kevin Durant has the potential. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but I think Kevin Durant has the potential to go into the top 10 and maybe top 5 players all time. Whether he gets there or not will partially depend on health. He did have a catastrophic injury a couple years ago, but also depend on, how long he can continue to play at this high of a level. So that's pretty much my closing statement on Kevin Durant. Uncle Doug?
I agree with what both of you said. I think that he is rising up the list because of his unbelievable talent. But I also think that a championship like the playoffs last year or without the other superstars would catapult him up the list. He does have phenomenal talent. And all the off-court stuff, it's annoying, but it doesn't affect how great he plays. But I do wish he would either have stayed in OKC or had maybe gone to the Knicks instead of the Nets. If he built something like that, I think you're right, Alex. I think he top 10, maybe even top 5. So.
Drew?
Well, I've kind of said it. If he goes somewhere else, I don't know. How long does he have left on his contract in Brooklyn?
He's got a couple years, doesn't he? Did he sign a 5-year deal when he went to Brooklyn? This would be year 3.
Was it 4 or 5?
I know this is his third year in Brooklyn.
He just signed an extension.
Oh, did he?
Didn't he?
If he did, I missed it.
Because they all 3 of them were up for some sort of boost, because he can boost it up more money.
Mm-hmm.
I think all 3 of them were up for that this year, or maybe upcoming.
You might, now that you say that, you might. I think him and Harden. I don't think Kyrie did.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, but is it where they add on to it and add more money or something like that?
I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't see him going anywhere soon and doing something like that. But he just stay healthy, keep doing what he's doing. If he wins an MVP this year, that'd be awesome. Get a second one. Then the what if game, really. You don't know with this Nets team. I guarantee you right now, if they're playing in the finals, the players that they have right now, I bet 1 or 2 of them probably won't be playing. Probably. I bet it's one of the 3 big names because one of them always finds a way to get hurt. So he just got to try and stay healthy and keep playing at the level he is for a couple more years.
And Wade.
All right. Well, to be completely honest, the only thing there is a debate with Kevin Durant is if you liked him playing for the Warriors and if you didn't. That's really the only thing there is a debate. But people just need to keep in mind, there's a lot of other all-time great players that played on stacked teams that won championships. And if you look at our very own lists, there are handfuls of these all-time great players that played on more stacked teams in our own opinions. So this isn't just my opinion. This is our own rankings. Bird Celtics More of those players made these lists than Durant's Warriors, and most of them were ranked higher than like Stephen Durant. Magic's Lakers, Jordan's second three-peat, some of Russell's teams. Our own opinions, we have more of those players on those teams made these lists and were ranked higher. So maybe those Warriors teams weren't quite as stacked as everyone thinks. That is my opinion, and your opinion. Mic drop.
Do you want a rebuttal?
Huh?
Do you want a rebuttal?
Sure. I'll just tell you your list.
No. I think part of that could end up being just the fact they're all still playing.
Right.
Is Draymond really going to make your list?
No, Draymond won't make my list. But I don't know. I can't really stand him. So it's hard for me to quote him, but I'm going to anyway. I listened to Nick Wright talk about this one day, and he said there's no questions asked. Nobody can debate it, which I don't know that I agree with, but for this, I'm just going to say it, that I can't remember the year, but the first year Kevin Durant was in Golden State is the greatest team of all time. And if you took a team, he gave like 4 examples. I can't remember exactly which years it was, but it was like the 86 Celtics, the 87 Lakers, the 96 Bulls, and there was another team. It was the earlier Lakers team, I think. Maybe the 72, I don't know, one of the great Lakers teams early, who like won historic amounts of games and like blew through the playoffs and won championships, or considered great teams. And he's like, what if you took the second best player in the league and then put them on that team the next year? That's what it was like. You have a team that won an historic amount of games and won the most games ever, actually, and then they added the second best player in the league. Nobody, I guess this is the way Mark always puts it, and he thinks it's an argument for Durant. I always think it's an argument against Durant. I don't really understand his logic, but he always says KD just did what LeBron did, only he took it to the next level.
He out LeBron.
Yes, and I agree with him. He did, but that makes it worse. If you outdid him, that means you did it bigger. LeBron went and formed this super team, and then KD's like, well, there's already is a super team. I'm just going to join it because they beat me and I, failed. It was, I don't know.
Well, here's what I'll say with Nick Wright. He says that because it helps his LeBron argument.
He's everything's about LeBron with Nick Wright, and I'm not trying to say it's not. I don't like
that.
Nick Wright.
Makes LeBron look better and makes it look like he never had a chance to win. And the next point would be, yes, those Warriors teams, they were a great team, but they didn't win the championship, so they weren't even the best team in the league. And the year that they won the championship, it took them playing Tristan Thompson and Matthew Dellavedova along with LeBron James. So if LeBron's pretty much the majority of his good players don't miss the entire finals the year before, he joins a team with 0 championships who can't get past LeBron. So
I don't disagree.
I just think, yes, he formed a very, very good super team, but people act like we've never seen it before, and that's just bull hockey.
Well, we've seen super teams
from the end of time.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, and I understand it was the whole free agency thing, which made it different than some of the other ones. But if you're on a super team, it's still an advantage to you and a disadvantage to the rest of the league. And it's been going on since the 50s.
No, I agree. I've said in past episodes, I think players forming super teams and teams forming what we call super teams are different. There's a level of competition there. And, if Bird and Magic are competing and Riley or Casey Jones are competing, and then the GMs are competing as well to try and add talent to their teams. The Durant thing, as a basketball fan, I think the worst part for me is it made the league anticlimactic for a couple years. And I went into the season going, well, the Warriors are going to win. Let's see by how much, and who gets there to get beat. And it surprised the shit out of me when they lost, but they lost because Clay and Durant both got hurt. Kawhi. We had to bring it back to Kawhi.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
You can be freaking Looney and all those guys. Yep.
There were still more All-Stars on that team than there were on the Raptors, even with the injuries.
Two of them don't play.
Clay played the majority of the series. And Steph played, and Draymond played.
Kawhi!
Does Iggy have All-Star appearances?
One.
One.
He won one as a injury replacement, I believe, with the Sixers.
Still made the All-Star team.
And then averaged 7 points a game with the Warriors.
Finals MVP.
By the way, before we get into trivia, guys,
Final
Buddy has texted in a trivia question.
Hell yeah.
He texts me, he's like, "Are you guys recording?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I got a trivia question."
Oh. Drew did it.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're good to go trivia.
Yep.
All right. Do you guys mind if I ask buddies real quick? We can we can all answer.
All right. Buddy, first time caller. Go ahead.
I got one.
I got one.
I should have.
All right. Here's Buddy's question. There are 3 active players in the top 20 in turnovers all time. Name the 3 guys.
Hey.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I got it. Mine.
While we're waiting on other people, shout out Bengals fans. I will be watching Saturday, and if they win, I'm sending a text message just for you guys.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
All right, I'm good.
No, I will say, guys, I'm going to show mine last because I actually answered him when he asked the question originally. So I've already answered it. So I have the answers written down. So I'm just going to turn around and show you guys after you guys show yours.
Okay, go ahead. I got 2. I'm drawing a blank on the third. So go ahead.
But LeBron, Westbrook, and Harden.
I did the same thing.
I said LeBron, Westbrook. I forgot Harden.
I said Westbrook, Iverson, and then I couldn't think of a third one.
Well, it's LeBron, Westbrook, and Harden.
Yay!
LeBron is now 1.
Really?
He passed Karl Malone.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
passed Karl Malone.
Nice.
And then he sent me the other two's rankings as well. I have to look real quick.
Oh, Westbrook's going to be 1 soon.
Yep.
Westbrook is 5, and Harden is 17.
Oh.
They're moving up the list.
They are.
They are.
Westbrook's going to shatter that record.
If he finds a team to play for.
True. Fair enough.
All right. So do we? Drew?
Yep.
Are we counting that for points?
Oh, do you guys want to?
I didn't know if it was just for fun.
I don't care.
It's up to you guys. I don't care either way.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter to
we can
me.
just do it just for fun.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
All right, Drew. Let's go.
Alright. What player has more finals MVPs than career triple doubles?
Only one player does.
Hmm.
More finals MVPs
Yes.
than career triple doubles.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I think I got it.
Ray's very confident.
I'm just looking confident. Doesn't mean anything.
I got mine.
I got one.
I gotta guess.
Alright. Let's see him.
I said Jabbar.
Okay.
I said Russell.
Okay.
It's like Kawhi.
I just put Jordan down.
It is Kawhi.
Woo! Wow.
I knew you were gonna try to get me.
Oh, yeah.
Get me. But I'm not surprised. He's up until the past 2 years, he was not getting very many assists.
All right. Who would like to go next?
I'll go ahead and do it up. Let's see. Which one did I pick? Okay. Name the 3 sets of fathers, sons who each won NBA championships as players.
How many sets are there?
There's 3 sets, father and son sets. Name the father and son.
So there's 3 of them, and we have to name one.
I mean, you know what? I'll let you have the one because this is kind of difficult. But name the 3 sets, or just like I said, name the 1 set of father sons who each won NBA championships as players.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of father and son sets.
I got one written down.
I've got 2 written down just for guesses.
Well, I'm thinking of some father-son sets, but I don't. That both won championships.
I think I got one. I'm somewhat confident.
I'm trying to figure out if a son snuck onto a championship team somewhere. I think I got it.
You never know who's on a bench.
Yeah.
You never know.
Just have to have one.
Yeah, just name one.
Okay,
This
I
is
got
kind of
one.
it's kind of rocky.
I guess 2. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
I've been killing y'all for like a year. I'll let y'all have some leeway.
All right, I got mine. Did everybody?
got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I said the berries.
I'm sorry.
I said the berries.
I said Rick and Brent Berry.
Oh, I said
I believe Brent was on the
the
Spurs.
Nances and the Hardaways.
Okay. So Matt Gukas Sr. and his son Matt Jr., Rick Barry and his son Brent, and Bill Walton and his son Luke.
Oh, we should have got that.
Oh, the Laker fans. Come on.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I wrote Brent, so the people didn't think I was talking about John. I didn't want to do that.
No. Yeah,
I
I knew Brent won one with the Spurs.
Yeah.
Well, at least I was pretty confident.
So that was me, Doug, and Wade. Is that right?
Yes.
Who'd you guess, Drew?
The Nances and Hardaway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess
Because I thought
did the one Nance get one with LeBron?
that's what I was thinking. I didn't know if his dad did or not.
No,
I
he,
don't
was, he
think
wasn't
so.
in Cleveland.
Yeah.
He wasn't in Cleveland with LeBron.
I can't remember.
But I don't think either one of the Hardaways have one. Because Tim Sr. never won one.
Nah, because he was in his prime with the Warriors and Heat.
Yeah.
And they
That's a
didn't.
good question, right? I like that.
That was a good question.
That's all the father sons I could think of, honestly.
No, I was literally sitting here trying to think of the teams that John and Brent played for. Because I was like, obviously we knew Rick had one. But then I was like, he's got 2 sons in the league. One of them's got to be on a bench and somewhere.
Mhm.
You know?
I think Brent actually played a role. Like he was actually a role player on those Spurs teams.
Oh, I totally forgot he was even on the Spurs.
Watch, I'm probably saying all this, and he probably won it with some other franchise.
I thought it was the Spurs too, so I think you're right.
You or me, Wade?
I have one pulled up, so I can go. Who is the Chicago Bulls all-time leader in three-pointers made?
Okay. 3-pointers made.
Wow.
I got it.
I feel like you're confident, Drew. You did that pretty quickly.
I think I saw a meme on TikTok about that.
Oh, there we go. Little TikTok.
I think. If not, then it's something else from Chicago. But
It's interesting when you stop and think of, like, just have to think about shooters. Just shooters on teams.
Yeah.
And, of course, different eras. Not all people were allowed to shoot that much.
so they're a
That's true.
shooter then, but a shooter compared then to now. So
Yeah.
2 different things.
A guy can break a record in 3 years now compared to what a guy did in 12
Yeah.
years back in the day.
When you think about it, like I think we said this a couple episodes ago. Larry Bird, when he retired, had the record for most threes in a season at 104.
Yeah, and what? Steph's now done like 400?
Like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Insane.
All right, I got my answer, by the way.
I got one.
Yep, I'm ready.
Hey, guys, what we got?
I got Ben Gordon.
I got Zach Levine.
I said Rose.
I said Paxton.
It's Kirk Heinrich.
Oh,
I almost wrote Heinrich down, and I was arguing with myself because I was arguing with a bunch of guards from the earlier Bulls. Damn it.
Yeah, I think he was a pretty good player, and he played for the Bulls for, I'd say,
A
what?
long time.
Yeah.
I'd say
Because he
like
left and
8
came back.
years? 8 or 9 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
And he was a really good shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forget about that Rose Boozer team they had there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Luol Deng and Noah. And,
Yeah.
well, Jimmy Butler came at the end of that, too.
Yeah, young Jimmy. So we got what, Uncle Doug and Alex left.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to stick with my draft categories here.
Oh, boy.
2007 draft. KD was number 2. Greg Oden, who we've talked about several times, was number 1. Al Horford was number 3. There were 3 Florida Gators in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Al Horford was number 1. Name the other 2.
I got it.
I have an answer.
They were at 7 and 9, by the way.
I always second guess myself with college people.
All I'm thinking of is the '08 Florida Gators football team right now.
Well, the Florida team that Uncle Doug's talking about, they were really good.
They won
They
back-to-back championships, didn't
Yes. Wasn't that Billy Donovan?
they? Yeah, Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's coaching the Bulls right now?
Yes.
I think he was there, and
Going into every episode for the rest of the podcast, I'm researching the draft so I can nail all the questions.
I always tell myself that, but I always forget.
Yeah, I thought about it last week. Like, I just need to look over the draft before I go. Didn't do it.
right.
You can't ask Uncle Doug draft questions either because he knows all the damn people in college. Or I tried that at the beginning of the podcast and you got them all right. Like, come on.
Everybody got it?
I got one. I just
Ain't got nothing.
no, I can't.
Good. Okay.
No clue for me.
I put Noah and Brewer.
Yeah, but nowhere in Brewer.
I put Noah.
Yep. Corey Brewer was number 7, and Noah was number 9.
Right.
So, see, those draft questions aren't that bad, Wade. You got it.
That was a good one. That was a good one. But you got me like 4 weeks in a row before that.
All right, that leaves me, right? So, earlier, we talked about the Eastern Conference standings at the top, and I told you who the first 3 teams were. Who are 4, 5, and 6?
In order or just name them?
Just if you can get the 3 teams, that's fine.
What's the question again?
Earlier, I told you who the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference are.
Okay.
Name 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, shit. Oh.
By the way, on air, I just want to say this. John Morant had one of the most crazy plays I've ever seen in my life the other night. That block, that two-handed block that he caught like above the square and then hit his shoulder on the backboard was insane.
Yes, it was.
Sometimes I just can't think of teams. When it comes down to it, I just blank.
Can you imagine being on Jeopardy and having to think of this stuff on the fly like that?
Oh, yeah. That would be tough.
Crazy.
It wouldn't be something in your wheelhouse. It'd be like, 40s companies. Like
Or that stupid ass category they always had, potpourri.
potpourri.
What the fuck is potpourri?
A mixture of everything.
All right, I got mine.
Yeah. I'll just. Oh, wait. No.
He's got it. He's got it.
Okay. I'm confident now. Okay.
That was a crazy face you just made there, Wade.
Because I had a revelation.
All right, so Wade and Drew got theirs. Doug and Drew, Ray.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, what you got, guys?
The Bucks, the Cavs, and the Wizards.
Okay.
I have Cavs, Bucks, 76ers.
Okay.
Bulls, Knicks, Hawks.
Okay.
I got Milwaukee, Washington, and New York.
Well, some good guesses, guys, but Wade is correct. It is in order: Milwaukee, Philly, Cleveland.
I didn't think about Cleveland to the very end. I had the Wizards written down.
Yeah. The 76ers have gone on a hell of a tear. They were like out of the playoff picture altogether, and then
Embiid went on a tear.
Well, yeah.
He is destroying people.
I didn't know where the 76ers were. That's why I didn't put them. I knew the Wizards were close.
I think they just got back above 500 yesterday. They're like 21-20. So what are they? 7th or 8th, maybe?
Who's that?
Wizards?
The Wizards. I got it pulled up. Hold on. The Wizards are
Maybe the Hornets.
22-20. They're the 9 seed.
Really?
The 7 seed is the Hornets. The 8 seed is Toronto.
Oh, how about Toronto?
If the season ended today, Boston would be the 10 seed. Talk about underachieving.
When is it time to blow that up?
Now.
Yeah.
Okay, you've gone through multiple coaches. You've gone through a ton of point guards. We keep blaming on the point guards. Well, the point guards, they can't bring in a point guard that fits with these guys because the point guard never has the fucking ball. It's Tatum isolate, Brown isolate. Tatum isolate, Brown isolate. And then I heard Kevin O'Connor, who I actually kind of like, but he was saying they need to bring in a pass-first point guard to run with this team. Who is that? Take Chris Paul out. Name one pass-first point guard in the NBA. There is no pass-first point guards anymore.
Elfrid Payton.
Right, but he sucks. So
Yeah, I know.
um,
I didn't mean for us going on a rampage. We can.
no, you're fine. I'm cool with it. It irritates me. But the scores after this week are as follows: Ray with 20, Drew with 42, Doug with 43, Alex with 50, and Wade with 58. I believe Wade extended his lead today, but I don't remember what the scores were.
I think he did about one.
I got
two. I got 4 questions right now.
okay. I think I got 2. So
I think you got 4 right. Yeah.
So yeah, Wade balled out tonight. So good job on that, Wade.
Thank you.
And thanks for tuning in for our Kevin Durant episode, and we'd appreciate you tuning in next week for our Dwayne Wade episode. That'll be a cool one. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.
Go Dogs.